Hey guys, it's Donkerdank once again. We are almost at the finish with this zombie series, because here we are, Black Ops 4. And let me tell you, this game is rusty. Haha. Okay, now that the mandatory pun is over with, Black Ops 4 is a bullshit game. This is the only Call of Duty to not launch with a campaign, which was a god awful decision, in my opinion. Like, the campaigns are meant to be the basis of where the maps come from for multiplayer and even sometimes zombies. Like, I remember playing Modern Warfare 2, right? The first one. And I played the multiplayer map Terminal, thinking, oh yeah, that's cool. Nice, cool little airport. And then I played the mission No Russian. I was like, oh, I get it. Oh. The campaigns indirectly add a level of cohesion to their games. And Black Ops 4 feels like it has no cohesion between all the game modes. The setting for the multiplayer and the tutorial missions is in between Black Ops 2 and 3. So, storyline wise, it goes World at War, Black Ops, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 4, and Black Ops 3. Or I guess now it would be World at War, Black Ops, Cold War, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3. And ironically, the game actually looks like it came out before Black Ops 3 because it looks like oversaturated hell. The multiplayer feels like it's trying to be like every other game on the market at the time, besides Call of Duty. Now, if you want like a watered down version of Overwatch, Rainbow Six, and PUBG, this game is for you. This game introduced Blackout, the first Call of Duty Battle Royale, for better and for worse. I don't like playing Battle Royale myself, so hearing how much of the resources went into this mode instead of zombies or multiplayer made me feel extremely gypped. In fact, I'd recommend you to research the development on this game and Cold War, and just see how Activision fucked over Treyarch's production cycle, and what we missed out on. Here's a hint: no Zombies Chronicles 2, or at least not one made by actual Treyarch. The final kick in the eyeball here is that this game not only has the MSRP of $60 with less content, the absolute nerve, but the DLC is a one item purchase of $50. It's not buy which packs you want like every other fucking game. It's buy it all or go fuck yourself. Give me $110 for the entire game, you stupid piece of shit consumer. Black Ops 4 came out within Call of Duty's dark age. And while the next COD would end up being amazing, it was only a warning sign of things to come. Activision, as a company, are scum. When they aren't sending cease and desists to gamers for making clients for their older games, aka X Labs and I4W and Boy, they are screwing over content creators for voicing such innocent opinions a la Nick Merckx. Activision doesn't care about true social justice, because if they did, they wouldn't be doing business with Blizzard, in which both companies' knees are scratched for how much they blow China, a country with no LGBTQ freedoms or even free speech. Remember when Cold War had to pull an ad because it showed Tiananmen Square? Breaking news. Sort of. I record these things weeks in advance. But earlier this week, Activision went back and fixed the matchmaking on older Call of Duty titles on the Xbox. Did they fix the issues on PlayStation or PC? No. Are there still cheaters? Yes. But for the sake of fairness, Activision did good here. There's no doubt this is related to the Microsoft purchase of Activision and Blizzard approaching. But still, this is a step in the right direction. And, as of the time of this recording, plutonium is still up. So things could be good. Who knows? But back to zombies, which is the one thing about Black Ops 4 that is good, that they did right. It's not near as good as, say, Black Ops 3, but it's a hell of a lot of fun, I'll admit, just a bit hollow. The gameplay is fun, the new features are cool, like now you can play with bots in zombies, like that's amazing to me. You don't have to rely on your friends or randos. But now you can choose which weapon you start off with, which is 180 degrees away from how zombies started. Not in a good way. Black Ops 4 has a whopping 8 zombies maps, and even launched with 3. However, of all the 8 maps, only 4 of them are wholly original. The other 4 are redos of older maps that we didn't get in Chronicles, but with additional rooms and features. The zombies in this game have 2 types of maps, Aether and Chaos storyline maps, and in this video I'll be covering the former. The latter will be the last video I make on the series before I get to the master ranking. The Aether maps are as follows: Blood of the Dead, Classified, Alpha Omega, and Tag their Toten. The story of Black Ops 4 serves to break the cycle once and for all. But how does it do that? Well, let's get into it, shall we? Starting off our ranking at last place, we have Alpha Omega. Now, to be perfectly fair, my opinions of these 4 maps aren't that extreme. Like, if Black Ops 2's map quality varied the most, Black Ops 4's varied the least to each other. But I have my reasons for this one being the lowest. But first, what is Alpha Omega? Well, consider it a redo of Nuketown Zombies. The story here is that both the Ultimus and Primus crew come here to get the elemental shard for the Agarthan device that will bring the chaos of this story to an end. So they get a MacGuffin for a MacGuffin. But we also get lore on what happened to Broken Arrow and its founder, Cornelius Purnell. Yeah, Black Ops 4's lore expands heavily on what came before. But this Nuketown is a hidden facility of Broken Arrow, as this is where they experimented with Element 115. And it's very much larger than the Nuketown that we know from before. This is Nuketown, the Zack Snyder cut. You spawn all the way down the street, and you have to go zigzag between the houses to get to the main area that we all know. We also finally get to see what's inside that bunker, and how it connects to the other buildings in the facility. All cool ideas. Of all the reimaginations of these maps, I'd say Alpha Omega adds the most stuff to its older counterpart. It's just too bad that all the newer stuff is sort of boring. I mean, it is better than Nuketown Zombies, as there is more to do, but the appeal starts to wear off when you realize that this map is just houses with labs, and a bunker which, while looking cool, doesn't really offer too much gameplay-wise. It does, however, have the Pack-a-Punch, which to get to it, you have to go to the generator room, start the ventilation thing, go to 4 random vent locations in the neighborhood, and turn each valve to good, and wham bam, Pack-a-Punch is open. I'll say that it's cool to think about the lore of this map when you're walking through it. This is where they made the bus driver from Transit, where Purnell turned into the Avogadro, also from Transit, and we learn about what happened to Peter McCain, kind of, sort of. This really is the prelude to Transit when you think about it. The end cutscene is the initial nuke. Nuketown Zombies is between that and the Earth's destruction scene in Moon. It's a cool piece of story that connects things, but that's just story stuff. Gameplay-wise, it's whatever. Not awful, by far. Just kind of lackluster. But I do respect how much they added to this map. In third place, we have Blood of the Dead. Yes, sir. If I remember correctly, this map was absolutely hated back in the day. And I get why. But still a revisit of Mob of the Dead, so how bad could it be? Well, Blood of the Dead is the linchpin to the story of Black Ops 4 Zombies. In the normal cycle, Primus would normally go to Alcatraz between the events of Zetsubo and Gorod Krovi to get vials of the mobster's blood from Mob of the Dead as insurance to Dr. Monty. But this time, the plans change, and instead of completing the cycle, like in Black Ops 3, you must end the cycle, and end this whole zombies and multiverse stuff. The lore presented in the map is all about the Warden and his creepy communications to the Shadow Man. Like I said, Blood of the Dead is a revisit of Mob of the Dead, with many differences, but generally the same map. It's the differences that take away from the experience, in mine and in many others' opinion. For example, you spawn in Richtofen's lab, not in the cells like in the original Mob of the Dead. Story-wise, sure, it makes sense. Gameplay-wise, it's a shitty spawn room, with nothing useful in it. This map bases the gameplay on the story, when a good map bases the story on the gameplay. You then have to plow through the working room and its boring surroundings before you brave the catwalk to get to Alcatraz, that we all know and love. The catwalk is clever. It shows you what happens if you drop the soap in prison because it is a gauntlet just to survive. The things they changed here are a net negative. 2 of the fire dogs are in different areas, and the Hell's Retriever feels like an afterthought, and it's not as badass as in Mob. The Warden's house is a waste of space, and worst of all is the change to the Pack-a-Punch process. Instead of building a cool-ass plane and flying to the San Francisco Bridge, all you do is build a shield, absorb a few zombie souls, and use them to power up the Pack-a-Punch, which is just on the roof now. So goddamn lame. Like, did they not give this any thought when they were making this? I don't think so. It's like the developers had the mentality of, let's give them what they want, but let's take away the stuff that we know that they like and give them a bunch of other bland content. That way we can still charge them the same amount. Now, what kind of game would do this, I wonder? But at the end of the day, it is Mob, just a lamer version of it. That's why it's not last place to me. If you have the PlayStation 4 and up, then this is your only real way to play Mob of the Dead. How sad is that? Now, if you had Black Ops 3 on PC, there's a fan-made remaster on the workshop. It's the same exact thing as Mob of the Dead and Black Ops 2. Go play that. But if you can, I'd say give this a shot. It's a novelty to see this legendary map in a different light, with different pathways and open rooms, at least once or twice. The second best map of Black Ops 4 Zombies, in my opinion, is Classified, the near identical remake of 5. This is the only remake in this game to actually start you off in the same spawn room as its original. The premise of Classified is a little weird, so it takes place between Shangri-La and Moon, all the way back in Black Ops. Ultimus was just finishing up getting the focusing stone when Dempsey overloads the teleporter again, and instead of going to Groom Lake, they go to the Pentagon, 2 days before 5. The intro cutscene is actually really well made. It explains most of that. The confusing aspect is that clean-looking 5 is after this messy disaster scene of Classified, when anyone would think that this is a sequel because of how shitty things got. But in the radios, McNamara says how between this outbreak and the zombies things overall, and of course that weird little missile crisis with Cuba, that he, JFK, Castro, and Tricky Dick need to meet up ASAP. The lore is great here too. We learn about the origins of Broken Arrow, and find out what happened to Ultimus after the events of Moon. I have more to say about the story than the map itself, because it really is just 5, but with a different Pack-a-Punch room. Same process too, only you teleport to Groom Lake to Pack-a-Punch, which is where you would start off in the map Moon. Aside from that and the new buildables, this is 5, but on newer hardware. However, I will say this map is better than the original. The gameplay isn't as bullshit as it is in Black Ops 1, and it's more approachable. Maybe the aesthetics were better in the original, but still, this is way more fun. Interestingly enough, there's no Easter egg on this map. The ending cutscene is only obtainable if you go past round 100 or something. It's just post-Moon Ultimus meeting with post-Blood of the Dead premise. Overall, this is a damn fine map. I just don't have much to say because it really is just like 5, but plays better. Black Ops 4's best map and the last number 1 of this entire Aether Zombies list is Tag der Toten. I would say it's one of the very best maps ever or anything, but it offers the most out of all the Aether maps, I think. It's also the very last map in the story. The point of the map is that Victus, from all the way back in Black Ops 2, is sent to Siberia, aka the location of Call of the Dead, to get the Agarthan device to send to Ultimus and Primus. All the while, we learn about the Group 935 facility there, what really happened to the Mexican test subject Pablo Marinez, why the ship crashed here to begin with, and the origins of the Pack-a-Punch machine, which was made all the way back during the Wild West time, aka Buried. This map is an extended Call of the Dead. You start off on the other side of the ice from the lighthouse. I do not believe there was anything removed from the original. Instead, they added that area that I mentioned in a secret lab, where a lot of important events took place. There's even a golden Pack-a-Punch which you can unlock. In fact, the Pack-a-Punch is the same as the original, only you have to start it by giving Pablo a blue rock in the lighthouse. In one of the rooms there is a nice little tribute to George Romero, who had died the year prior to this map coming out. It's a damn good thing they didn't bring him back in his zombified form. That would have been in horrible taste. The ending cutscene is a fucking downer, though. Not that it's bad, but because it's just sad. Sad boy hours. But that's the only way that all this could end. I know people were disappointed when this map came out because the cutscenes were alluding to that they would fight in the Great War, and we never did. But I sort of saw that coming. Not to sound snarky or anything, but there was a pattern with the maps of this game. They were all remakes of maps that weren't in Chronicles. Call of the Dead was the last one, not on there. And so, there we go. Now, I don't prefer this map to the original because, while the aesthetics here are nice and look beautiful with the sunset, as it's the sunset of the story, I prefer the rigid, miserable cold from before. And also, and this is the biggest issue by far, what they did to Misty. I'll just post the Black Ops 2 and 4 version for you of the character, let you see the absolute sacrilege going on here. Not only did they nerf her personalities, but her voice was also downgraded. She went from sounding like Rogue from the X-Men to some butch truck driver. Maybe I'm the only one who got that vibe? I don't know. All in all, this map is a solid send-off to Black Ops 4, and I suppose zombies as a whole. Now, like I said before, this won't be my last Black Ops 4 video, as I'm coming back for the Chaos maps. But I cannot help but feel a sense of finality here. This whole ranking thing has been my first real video series that is coming to a close, which I feel good about. I feel like I'll have a complete thing for you guys to watch as time goes on. But don't worry, after I kill Chaos, I will rank all these sons of bitches together in a big ol' video for you guys. Then after that, I've been thinking about doing one where I just go over the story of Call of Duty Zombies in a simple and brief manner. It wouldn't be 6 hours like what other better men have made, but I want it to be a quick thing to watch where you can get all the important bits of the lore, just for funsies. I will, however, be saving my overall Black Ops 4 opinions for the next video, which will be out sooner than you think. And that is where I will see you guys again. Toodles.